Yo, we actually got the second good Smackdown in a row. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Mate, we'll get into it. John Cena hit a pipe bomb on CM Punk. Now, isn't it crazy how things in wrestling just fall in line? The number of, yes, of course, I know it's scripted and I know these things can be booked, but the number of factors that had to happen at the perfect time and the number of pieces that had to fall in the right place for this to have happened 1 week away from being 14 years to the day exactly from CM Punk's pipe bomb in 2011. The main event involved Cena and R-Truth. Now, this main event in 2011 happened, because R-Truth and Cena had a feud, a capital punishment. Happening now, think about the number of things that has led to that happening now. It had to have Cena in his final title run. It had to have R-Truth developing this weird storyline that I was seen as my childhood hero, which wasn't a thing in 2011. It had to involve R-Truth becoming a sort of national treasure. It had to involve R-Truth getting released weeks before. Excuse me. Weeks before. It had to involve R-Truth, the fans chanting for him. We want Truth. We want R-Truth. Bringing him back. Yeah? WWE had to pivot. It brought him back. R-Truth is now over. So those two had to be, the number of things that had to happen for those two to be feuding at this moment in time. CM Punk had to have returned to wrestling, which he, for the 14 years ago that pipe bomb was, for 10 of those years, he said he's never wrestling again. So CM Punk had to be back in the WWE. John Cena had to announce his retirement this year for this to have happened. This was insane. And it all sort of fell in place in June, which is, almost to the exact week. It's insane. It's insane. Now, I'm just going to talk about that pipe bomb straight away. We're just going to get straight into it. And this is the first time that Cena, as a heel, felt... I'm going to go as far as... I'm going to say fun. Entertaining. Do I say believable? I don't know. But I'm going to say fun. And this was the first time he seemed kind of like he was enjoying it a bit more. And... yeah, kudos to Punk for letting him use his material. Cena thanked him too. This is all very funny because last week, Punk said to Cena that you're stealing all my materials. You're going to leave with the title. I said this last time. I'm feeling disrespected. I said this last time. So this is hilarious because Cena said, oh, he basically, you think I'm stealing your material? Watch this. And he just stole his material like word for word, bar for bar. He stole my whole flow. Bar for bar. Anyway. So he started it word for word. Like he was like, CM Punk, as you lay there, as uncomfortably as you possibly can be, I want you to listen. Before I leave in 6 months, I gotta get a lot off my chest, and I hate this idea that you are the best in the world. I'm the greatest of all time. This is, almost bar for bar CM Punk's pipe bomb when he sat cross-legged. I wish Cena sat cross-legged as well, but maybe that would have been a bit too much. But yeah, this is while Cena Punk was laying through a table, as did Cena, as did Cena after an R-Truth match 14 years ago. So yeah, in the R-Truth match, quick match, Cena won by DQ, hit R-Truth for the title. Punk came to help him. Punk got hit with the title twice, or 3 times even, and was put through a table. And here we are. He said, "There's one thing you're better at than me," and he said, "You're the best ball crapper," with the S word, "in the world." CM Punk, to show you the mirror image, called him a better ass kisser in the world. He said he's a better ass kisser than Hogan was. Not as good as Dwayne, though. And then, yeah, he said, "Hey, Stu, I'm breaking the fourth wall," as CM Punk did. He waved at the camera. He started laughing like a madman. Cena said he's jealous. Punk's conned all these people. You change your values as much as I change my T-shirts. I think he's referring to him now going Saudi. I wonder if they kind of booked this to happen at the Saudi match on purpose, so Cena could have this content, because it's a bit too perfect for me right now. Like, it's just the perfect thing to come, do you know? CM Punk says yes to Saudi. Obviously, he said the thing about Saudi, and now Cena's saying you change your values. It just seemed like it's the perfect sort of line you could use in a pipe bomb promo, so maybe they sort of set it up so he could have that content. He said he stepped on the necks to get ahead, and then he did the CM Punk thing. He turned to the camera, he said, "Hey, Claudio Classignoli," which is Antonio Cesaro, "Hey, Nick Nemeth," which is Dolph Ziggler, and "Hey, Matt Cardona," which is Zack Ryder. And I think those are all guys he buried. I saw an interesting comment somewhere where he said, Claudio Classignoli refers to Colt Cabana, because Punk's had beef with him. Nick Nemeth and Matt Cardona refers to Matt and Nick Jackson, who obviously Punk had beef with in AEW. Wouldn't it have been hilarious if he said something like Jungle Boy? But that would have been hilarious. But I'm kind of glad he didn't, because I reckon he probably asked Punk, and Punk said, I don't even want to give that guy the airtime. That's probably what happened there. He said, you've got the same 5 microphone moves of Doom. I don't think that's true, but I think that's a cold, like, because Cena was always told he's the 5 moves of Doom. Saying that about Punk, 5 microphone moves of Doom is great. You're not against TKO, you're Mr. TKO. I don't really know what that meant. I think he's trying to say, well, you're a millionaire, but aren't all of you? Anyway, he said, you were the best in the world for 7 minutes 14 years ago. That's referring to the pipe bomb, which was a great way to end the promo. And he said, one thing I noticed is that I think we're seeing bits of a face turn. Maybe an anti-hero type thing. Because he said, the mood is starting to change and these people can see it. And then he ended the promo and he said, the champ is here. And that's, I think, the first time we've heard an OG Cena catchphrase since this heel run. So that was good. And he was like hyping the crowd after, he was getting them to cheer. He was taunting with them. He seemed to be enjoying it. So that was a bit of a change in demeanor for Mr. John Cena. Anyway, that was the end of the show. Let's get back to the start of the show. We have Mr. L.A. Knight. Yeah. He comes out, cuts a promo. We're back to the open now. We're going in order now. He said he got screwed at Money in the Bank by Seth and his boys, so he's got to get some payback and screw his boys at King of the Ring. He said this only ends in one with one person, and he said this ends with Seth Rollins, so he calls out Seth Rollins, and out comes Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman starts talking on behalf of Seth, and he says Seth told him to tell L.A. Knight, to get the hell out of Michigan or something very bad is going to happen. He said, have a nice evening. And Paul Heyman had a little voice crack. And then L.A. Knight, when he replied, he kind of did a voice crack as well, on purpose this time. He took the piss, which is quite funny. Paul Heyman said he was a fan of L.A. Knight, and L.A. Knight said, Paul, you're telling me you're a fan, you're a liar. I don't believe you. You're a scammer, you're a schemer. You've done this with everyone. You leech onto the next big thing, and you rinse them dry, and then you move on to the next one. He said, if Seth Rollins not here, maybe we should have L.A. Knight, versus Paul Heyman. Out comes Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This is kind of goofy, because there's 2 of them, they're both destroyers, and they come to attack him, and then somehow they let Knight get away and get a chair, and then they run away. That doesn't reflect very well upon those 2, but that was that promo. I mean, they're making, I don't know where okay. I know I keep saying this, but this Seth Rollins faction is terrible, and nothing makes sense, and they're just trying to force a bloodline situation or a Judgment Day situation, and it's not working. You need to have the motivations, and you need to have the stories and the characters to make it make sense. The interactions between the group members need to make sense, Roman beat Jay into submission until he joined the bloodline. And at that dynamic stayed until right at the end when he broke up with him again. Why have these guys joined Seth? Anyway, the video is coming. I'm waiting for Seth to cash in Money in the Bank. I'm going to see how it plays out. And then this video, we're going to talk about this stupid thingy. Then we have Alexa versus Asuka semi-final of Queen of the Ring. Alexa, there's a weird spot here. Alexa went for Twisted Bliss and then stopped because she thought Asuka was playing possum, or at least that's what the commentator said. And then she kind of went, no, jumped off, started trying to do nothing with Asuka. She sort of just, rather than just punching her up, she just grabbed her arm and tried to drag her away. And then turns out Asuka was playing possum and she got put in a number. So how does that, what kind of a spot is that? Why would you notice someone's playing possum, jump off the top rope, and then they'd play you possum anyway and you still get put in a number? What? You just made Bliss look stupid. Eventually, she went for another Twisted Bliss, got reversed with the knees, and Asuka hits her new terrible finisher to get the win. I don't know why. Why have we suddenly decided to send Asuka to the semi-finals of the final of Queen of the Ring? I don't get it. Who's on the other side of the bracket? I don't know. But shouldn't it have been Stephanie versus Asuka maybe? If you want to have a veteran in there with someone a bit newer to, have a good match, or to know they're going to have a good match. Or maybe they can't have Stephanie and Saudi. Maybe that's what it is. Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, next we have a backstage segment of Chelsea Green bullying Alexa Bliss. And then Charlotte comes in and says, well, if your replacement in our Fatal 4-Way match, Chelsea Green, didn't tapped out, what, a second earlier, I would have been in Queen of the Ring. And I would have beat Asuka. And that's about it. Alexa was like, oh, thanks for the help. And then Charlotte was like, I'm not helping you. Now we have Kit Wilson versus Aleister Black. Kit Wilson's in the ring, Aleister Black's making his entrance, and then all of a sudden the camera cuts and someone's getting beaten up in the ring. Is it a fan? No, it's R-Truth. And he comes out, he gets a microphone, he says, I want John Cena for his match later, which I've already talked about. Truth is backstage and he tells Jamie Mobile he wants John Cena. Yeah, that match got cancelled, I think. And then Aleister Black comes up and he said, why are you getting involved in my match? Truth didn't look very happy to get called out. And then Damian Priest appears from behind and says, look, R-Truth, he's been through a lot. He's going through it. I'll speak to him. Allow it. And that's that. What's that? R-Truth versus Aleister Black promo? I don't know. This R-Truth thing, I don't know. If he's not his funny self, I don't think this has much in the tank. I don't know if this is going to have heat for as long as people hope it does. But let's see how it goes. Aleister Black versus R-Truth. Is that the best thing for Aleister Black? I don't know. I mean, you had him beat Carmelo Hayes and Miz, so you could have had him do something a bit more upper card than that, maybe. I don't know. You get the same people getting pushed over and over again. Like Gunther getting how many title matches? Logan Paul gets a title match every year. I feel like we're just in a vortex sometimes. LA Knight still hasn't had a world title match since, when? Royal Rumble 2024? Before WrestleMania 40? Come on, man. So, out comes Cody Rhodes. And I think he's been death rebelled. There was nothing wrong with his music. There was nothing wrong with it. But they've added this weird... Okay, I don't know if I was bugging, but I played it twice and I definitely heard it. They've added this weird Hoover vacuum cleaner sound to the beginning of his song. So this is from like after Wrestling is More Than One Royal Family. The whole build up all the way until Adrenaline. It's got this weird Hoover sound until like the initial pyro and Cody comes out. It's weird. Why touch it? It was absolutely fine. Death Rebel just have to put their hands in it and give themselves a justification for their jobs. But you couldn't have left it. Anyway, that was weird and I noticed it. The crowd was very hot, I think, for this segment. And unfortunately, what that means is that's a good thing for the crowd, but also a bad thing because Jey Uso had an entrance. Cody was about to speak. Jey Uso comes out. And the crowd, the entrant looked good. They were yeeting. And it just went on for about 5 minutes. And then he comes in again and the crowd say one more time. And then he does it again. And then it's like 10 minutes of the show has passed just on this entrance. Jay says, look, there's only room for one of them at Monday because Cody and Jay are going to go against each other in the King of the Ring first round. There's only room for one of them. It's not personal, it's business. And then Cody's about to speak again. And then Sami Zayn comes out before Cody Rhodes gets to talk. Now, I don't really know. This is Cody Rhodes, like the quarterback one, the face of the company, supposedly. You guys aren't going to let him speak on a promo on Smackdown? What do you mean? Anyway, it felt a bit like a heel move to me because Sami Zayn has had Karrion Kross in his ear right now for ages and ages and ages. And it just felt slightly heelish that he came out just as Cody was about to, Cody was literally mic at his mouth and he was about to speak. And then Sami Zayn hits and he came out. It just, I don't know, it just felt slightly heelish. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. We'll see. See how that goes. Maybe Sami will turn heel trying to win the title because he talks about it every week. And let's be honest, he's not going to win it, is he? Cody v Randy is the King of the Ring final, hopefully. But yeah, we'll see. Sami comes out and he said, this is nice. 2 of my friends are in the ring. We get it. You're all friends. You say this every week. But 2 of my friends are in the ring. In the ring. But there's only one of us that hasn't won a world title. Sami said he had no reason to be at WrestleMania 41. Because, for some reason he wasn't on the card, which is criminal in its own sense. But, TKO. Sammy went to Mania to congratulate him when he won it. He went to Mania to congratulate Jey Uso. He was the first one in the ring to congratulate Cody after he won his. And then Cody finished his story. Sammy said he needs to finish his story. And then Randy comes out. Randy comes out and he says, I need 15 world titles. He says, Jay, I respect the hell out of you. I respect the hell out of your family. They go way back. But it's not going to be 4 letters, 1 word. It's going to be 3 letters, 1 move at RKO at King of the Ring. Then he turns to Sammy and he says, one day, Sammy, you will be world champion, but it's not going to be at SummerSlam. Interesting. So now, we have Orton versus Sami Zayn in the semi-final, and they had a great match. This was a good match. This was, it was on Smackdown. I'm not going to say it was a pay-per-view main event, but it was a good match, man. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't, fast forward or anything like that. Match banged. Back and forth. We had some good spots. We had, trying to think, I think Sammy went for a haluva kick. Randy caught him into a scoop slam. There was one where, what was the other? I think Sammy, the ending was like, something happened. I think Sammy was running towards Orton. Orton went for an RKO. Sammy stopped himself or reversed it. Then he ran towards him again, and then Orton just RKO'd him the second time. It was just so cool. It was so cool. Orton got the dub. Orton's going to the King of the Ring final. We will find out who he faces on Monday Night Raw. It's going to be out Cody and Jay. I wonder what the... Oh, so I'm guessing if Randy... Well, they're both on SmackDown, aren't they? So I'm guessing if Randy wins, he'd face Cena, and if Cody wins, he'd face Cena. So, yeah. Next, we had a promo by Nia Jax, who is terrible on the mic. This was probably the low point of the show. I can't believe Tiffany is still champion, and I can't believe she's still fighting Nia Jax, because this is how she won the title to begin with in December, and they're still doing Tiffany versus Nia Jax. Didn't they have a match a few weeks ago when Tiffany drop kicked a chair into her face? Didn't they have a match earlier in the year, in January? Where's the women's division? You've got new call-ups. You've got plenty of people on the roster. You've got Alexa Bliss, who's not had a world title match. You've got Charlotte Flair, who could, probably have a match again. Why not? Not Nia Jax, though. The match ain't going to be good. The promos ain't going to be good. We've seen it before. So why are we still doing it? Why do they love? Okay, yeah, we probably know the answer to that. Anyway, Tiffany said next week, who doesn't cut promos very well, to this day, she got pushed to the world title way too quickly. I think TKO saw that she could sell, some merch, some pink merchandise, and they just pushed her to the moon. Her promos are still not there yet, not for a world champion. I'm sure it'll get there eventually, but it's just not good enough. She said next week is the last woman standing match, and she said she wants to put a scar on Nia's big 5 head. Nia attacks her. Naomi comes out trying to cash in Money in the Bank, and Nia stops her again. So we're going to see this for about 6 months, I imagine. Just like Triple H did with Austin Theory, just like Triple H did with Damian Priest. This is going to get just like he did with Tiffany Stratton, it's going to get very boring. Another thing, there were so many ads. Smackdown, I left it could probably shave off about 30-45 minutes just from ads. I thought the whole point of Netflix was that there wasn't going to be ads anymore, but they have ads within the show. It's either a promo for CM Punk versus Cena, a promo for Gunther versus Goldberg. It's either a promo for one of their sponsors, a promo for NBA, a promo for boxing, a promo for UFC. Come on, man. You know how much time it took up? Well, next, we had... who the hell was Charlotte Flair facing? I can't remember who she was facing. Who the hell was she facing? Was it Chelsea Green? It might have been Chelsea Green. Anyway, Charlotte won with a figure 8. Piper and Alba Fire attack her. And then Alexa Bliss came to help her. And it looks like they're going to be a tag team going forward, which I don't mind. I think Alexa could have had a go at Tiffany, and a world title would have been nice. But a tag team with these two, that's great. That division needs it. That will be great. I think they'll complement each other very well. I think their characters, their aura, I don't think they can miss, really. I think that'll be great. I don't know if they're going to be heel or face, though, because everyone hates Charlotte and everyone loves Alexa, so that'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Now we have Solo. He's in the ring. And he says, Jacob, come out here. I'm out here calling you out with open arms. Come to the ring. He says, Jacob, you're all I got. He says, come back. And he says, you don't want to say those 4 words? I'll say those 4 words. He says, I love you, Jacob. And then Jacob says, I see what you've been doing. You brought me in, but you've been using me to get tribal chief. You've been using me to fight your battles. Maybe you don't like me. Maybe the problem is the title. And if the problem is the title, then fight me for it. Solo tried to hit him. Jimmy Uso came out to help because JC Mateo came out. And yeah, looks like they're officially broken up. And yeah, backstage it cuts to Jacob Fatu and he says Jacob versus Solo at Night of Champions is going down. So it's finally been announced. Yada I mean. So finally we can move past this. Please, 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 just move on. Or at least not past SummerSlam. Give it 2 matches. That I feel like because they've built it up for so long, they're gonna try and milk it for a few pay-per-views. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. But please don't add another member to the new bloodline. Add a return of Tangaloa, a return of Tamatang. Don't drag it out like that. Just let them have their couple matches. Hopefully they're good, and then move on. Please. Yes, and now we have. This is the last thing before the main event of R-Truth and Cena. LA Knight versus Bronson Reed. Why is the brand split anymore? I thought Bronson Reed was on Raw, but anyway, this just ends with a DQ because Braun Breaker comes out and hits a spear to LA Knight. So that ends in DQ. Now he gets speared again, and then he gets tsunami'd and another tsunami. LA Knight's out. LA lights out. What? And then I'm guessing, yeah, he's going to be written off for a bit. Hopefully, please be written off for a bit. Because I'm tired of WWE doing these beatdown angles. People getting choked out in sleeper holds. And they show up the next day on a podcast. Or they show up to Raw the next week. And it's just, come on, man. Sell the injury. LA Knight, please don't show up to Raw SmackDown for a week. Sell the 5 finishers. And just show up the week after, or at Night of Champions, or actually, yeah, maybe not even Night of Champions. At some point down the line, give it a week at least. But yeah, this storyline is just very repetitive. It's not LA Knight's fault. He's cutting great promos. But yeah, he's gonna get stuck in this vortex now. I feel like he's gonna be the guy that the Seth faction, which doesn't even have a name yet, is just gonna attack over and over and over again. It's gonna be LA Knight. I guess until where the hell is Roman Reigns? And why the hell is CM Punk and Sami Zayn just forgot about them? It's all very weird. But yeah. I've talked about the main event, I've talked about the pipe bomb, so we will leave it at that.